Hey guys, John Harris here, and my pal Billy Smith is back, baby. It's good to have you back, at least video-wise, in the house, pal. In the
Sounds
video,
good. Glad to be
in the
back.
video house, I guess. But it's good to see you, buddy. See, get the hat on backwards. Freedom, yeah. He's back.
Yeah.
So it's good to see my pal Billy. I got the Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry hat on today. Coach and Hank Stram coaching from the sidelines because today is Thanksgiving. Those are the coaches that you wanted to remember on Thanksgiving, usually because they were usually involved somehow. So a nod of the hat to those guys. It's basically the old school NFL coaching hat. So because it is Thanksgiving, let's let her rip. So we'll review first. Before we do, though, let's talk about a good friend of ours, Bill.
Let's talk.
My friend Dennis Ingraldi from Vineland Realty Corporation. Why? A, because we can, and B, it's the right thing to do because Dennis and them folks do the right thing for us every time we do a show from Public John, especially from the cheap seats. So we want to thank Dennis and all his folks and wish them a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully they're having a great day of food and fun and feasting and all that stuff. So that's Vineland Realty Corporation for all your real estate needs, whether it's business or residential, folks. You can contact Dennis and his crew. Their office is at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey, and their phone number is 856-690-9482. Go down there and or call them and tell them that John and Bill sent you from the cheap seats or from Public John Media, whichever. Let them know that you heard about us here, and go down and support those folks because they support others, especially in South Jersey. But even if you're not from there, you can call them at 856-690-9482. And they have resources as well. So you don't have to be just from the Vineland area. They can help you out trying to find whoever it is you need to do whatever it is you need. That's Vineland Realty Corporation, 634 East Landis Avenue, business and residential, whether it's renting, leasing, buying, selling, all those things that are real estate. And I admit I don't know that much about it, but I do know that my pal Dennis and his folks will take care of you. So that's all that you need to know in the real estate area. As Vineland Realty Corporation, again, 856-690-9482. Thanks, Dennis, and happy holidays to you and all your folks. We'll be talking to you again soon, I'm sure. Bill, that being said, as you love to say, I love it. And I heard a couple other people doing it the other day. They went into this 15-minute explanation of how somebody's defense wasn't great. And then they went, but that being said, and I was like, Billy's on TV. Damn it.
There you go. I'm on TV.
My pal Billy's on TV.
I should have trademarked that.
Anybody that knows Bill knows that this is Bill gets fired up as but yep, I heard it, and I heard it from 2 or 3 different people. That being said, which tells you, analyst wise, they're just looking for stuff to fill time. That's when you know sports talking, because at the very end, just before they make their little prediction, they'll say that being said, or all of that being said, I'm predicting the other way. It's like, well, I'm glad you were able to fill the time. Thank God for that. So Billy had a pretty good week, folks. Mine wasn't bad, but Bill gained a game on me both in picks and in excuse me. There. You know how they say you have a frog in your throat, Bill? I think I had a friggin' iguana in there. I don't know what the hell that was. Jesus, it was like all of a sudden it was like, verklempt. So we're going to pick the first 4 games of this week's NFL slate. 3 today and the 1 for tomorrow. And then we'll be back over the weekend to finish up with the rest of the week 12 picks. Bill's record this past week was still pretty good. He gained a game on me in picks and a game on me in spread. I had it right here, Bill. You were 10-4 on your picks, and you were 8-6, or I'm sorry, I apologize. You were 9-4-1 on the spread this week. So you had a good week. And we're glad about it. Let me check the 9-foot one. I don't think that part was correct. I think it might have been a little better. No, I'm sorry. Odds were 8 and 6. You were 10 and 4 on your picks. Great week, buddy. And both of us suffer a little bit with 6, 7, and 1. We were both 6, 7, and 1 on over under. Which brings, I was 8 and 6. You beat me on picks by 2 games. 7 and 7. I broke even against the spread. And like I said, we were both 6, 7, and 1 for the season. Bill, you are, and you cracked it. You cracked the 60% mark, buddy. I know you were slowly but surely climbing. And what I want people to realize is, if you think about it, folks, we're picking against Vegas's odds every week. We're really picking against Vegas every week. And Bill is 106 and 70 on his picks, which is 60.2%, buddy. You cracked it. You got past that 60% mark, and I don't expect it to go down. If anything, I think I expect it to go up for you. You're 90 and 68 against the spread, so you cracked the 55% mark. You've been going up that way. I still predict you'll be well over 60%, as both of us probably will be by the end of the season, because we're gaining a game or two here, a game or two there on Vegas. Over under, I've got to put it there, but we're both, you were at 78 and 84 now with 2 pushes on over under, but you're still at 57. That can't be right. Oh, there it is, 47%. I apologize. But you were there, buddy. Meanwhile, I am 2 games behind you at exactly 60%. You're like 60.29. So you're like 60.3. I'm right at 60 at 104 and 72. So we're both there, pal, on picks. 87 and 73 with 4 pushes. I'm right behind you at 54%, 1 percentage point. It looks like about 2 games total, really, because there's 2 half games in there. And over under, I'm faring a little better with you at 86 and 73. I'm going to go back and look at your numbers. I think these are recorded wrong. I think you're 84 and 78 because it's showing me 57%. So I'll go back and look at that. I think they're written reverse. I think you're a game and a half behind me, but you're right there at 50. Yeah, I think I think these are reversed. So I'll go.
I think so. Yeah.
It sounds to me like they're reversed. But we're both doing pretty well. We're still climbing against that those Vegas odds. And we both take a couple chances every so often, and we did last week. We had quite a few. You took Chicago, which was a win on the spread, and that was a big pick against the spread. That was nice. I took Detroit and lost that one against the spread. I got lucky with the Houston, Arizona. Well, you did too. The only thing we were different on was the over under. I took the under and won that one at 48. But we both took Houston to win the game and Arizona to cover, and we were both dead on there. I'm looking here at, you took the Giants to cover against Washington, and you were dead on with that one. Of course, I wasn't, because the Giants actually won the game. You did pick Washington to win, which is what I did too. I didn't think the Giants would handle them like they did, but Washington's got some issues. I did not think that Cleveland would beat Pittsburgh at all. You did. You took them as a pick. We both thought Pittsburgh would cover. They came close to that. It took a last-minute effort by Cleveland to hold on to. It was only a 1.5 point spread. So, but Cleveland winning the game got you the big win. And I'm looking here. I took the Chargers over Green Bay, and a last-minute failure by the Chargers just killed me.
Yeah, they're looking bad.
They look bad. If Staley hangs onto his job for the rest of the season, it'll be a miracle. But I think at the end of the season, he's done. He's like that great Sean Penn movie, Dead Man Walking.
Yes.
I think he's close to done. I lost. We both won San Francisco winning, but we both took Tampa Bay to cover, and they didn't. They came close to it, but they didn't cover. Buffalo, we both took Buffalo to win, the Jets to cover, and that was wishful thinking, I think, because I don't think with a blanket the Jets could cover themselves at night. Okay, they're done. They're toast. All right. So let me see. Seattle and the Rams. You took the Rams winner, chicken dinner, even the under. I lost all the way across the board. I did take the under with you, and that was the only thing that worked. Minnesota and Denver. We both did the same thing, and we both got a win for Minnesota to cover, it looks like, but Denver won by a point. Who knew that would happen? And then eventually we both I actually took the loss across the board on the Chiefs with the Eagles winning. You took Philly. You lost on the pick, but you won for Philly to cover the point spread because Philly won the game. And of course, the under, which was, if you looked at my sheet, you could see I crossed it out 3 times. I originally had the under and changed it to the over, and that cost me. But I also had Kansas City winning the game, of course, which meant they would have covered, and wrong. Very easily could have went the other way, and were some calls you could go against. Either way, it was an entertaining game. It was sloppy on both sides. Kansas City's dropped passes. Philly had some plays they didn't make. I think Philly misses Dallas Goedert. They won't be with one loss for very long. I think they may get by Buffalo. We'll go into that later in the week with the picks, but I think they're going to struggle against Dallas. They got a tough schedule coming up. They got Dallas, they got the Niners, they got the Seahawks, they got the Lions. 3 or 4 of them of the 4 are pretty tough games, and they could lose against the Seahawks too. Yeah. And then they're going to have, they always downplay against Washington, and who beat them. So I mean, it's not an easy road to hoe for Philly coming up, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They just figure out a way to keep going. This was their loss, so now I'm thinking they're going to go on a 2 or 3 game run again. That's how they do it. If they could have a guy that could actually catch a cold in the Arctic, naked, soaking wet, if they had a guy that could catch the cold, they'd probably do a little better. But these guys, they make, what was the old Hands of Stone? They make those guys look like they got a chance to catch a ball. I mean, that touchdown pass right in Scanlon's arms. Oh, God. And then Kelsey dropped the ball. He got stripped inside the red zone. Watson made a touchdown catch, but dropped 2 balls, including a first down catch on 4th and 23. Holmes put it in his hands, and he doesn't catch it. Mahomes is just, I mean, he just needs a guy.
He needs a guy. We talk about this almost every week. Andy Reid, I think he's been slipping. He just, the Eagles are bad against the pass. When you're not passing, you should be passing 40 a game.
I mean, you could see how open was Scantling, how open was Watson all day. I mean, they did a job on Kelsey and decided we're going to take Kelsey out of the game, which has been the thing that has worked the last few games. I mean, even though the Chiefs have won some games, they've been close, and it's because Kelsey's been taken out of the game. I think at this point, he can bring Scantling in for some things, but I think you got to give these young guys a shot because they can't do no worse. Let Sky Moore in there, get Rice in there, and let them start playing. There was talk, but I think he burned himself with having a chance in the locker room of bringing back Deshaun. Who am I thinking of? The former Eagle guy that
Jackson.
Yes, Deshaun Jackson. But then he puts on his thing. Somebody said they should look at Deshaun Jackson, who's technically a free agent. He's out there, but of course he puts on Twitter. I would have caught that. Well, that's not going to win you a whole lot of friends in the locker room. So now, if he had a shot, Andy Reid's probably going to say, I can't bring him in this locker room because it's just going to start a fight. It's a shame because that's his kind of ball. And he's got still got great speed. So that's his kind of ball, and he would have probably caught it, and the Chiefs probably could have won the game. But I mean, to me, he's Tyreek Hill before Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Great speed, somehow figured out a way to get open, could return kicks and punts. Ask the Giants, who still rue the day that they punted to him years ago. I mean, but I think he hurt himself when he tweeted, "Yeah, I would have caught that." You should just. This is where I told you there should be social media distancing. The minute before you get ready to hit enter, read it and step 6 feet away from the keyboard, because he may have cost himself, not just with the Kansas City, but with anybody else that would be like, we can't bring this guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
And that's probably why he's still sitting out there. He's also older, 36 or something, but still.
Yeah, he's getting.
Yeah, but he's got a couple good years left in him that he probably just burned himself. So, but we'll see. Somebody desperate for a receiver may give him a shot.
Yeah.
But if you can't tell me Kansas City ain't desperate for a guy that can catch the ball right now, and then he types that, and I'm like, fuck, dumbass. Because I wanted to see it as a Kansas City fan. I thought that'd be great. Sign him up. Sit somebody. Because now Kelsey needs somebody to take some of the heat off him. And Mahomes needs a guy with some speed that can catch the ball. I mean,
well, it just shows that they should have paid the Cheetah more. You know, they should have paid him and kept him.
Yeah, but I think he wanted out, because that was really, if you look at it, I think it was a sign and trade. I don't think it was just a free agent straight up. So I think they signed him and traded him, and then Miami extended him past that. I think he wanted out for a reason. I don't know why. I think he wanted to play with Tua, but I don't know the real reason why, because he always talked good about Mahomes, but then of course he left and talked shit about Kansas City after that. So guys do that, you know. But you're right. If they could have figured out a way to sign him, that's who they should have kept. Could you imagine if they did that? Unreal. Yeah. You know, but it is what it is. All teams go through making those choices. All right, let's get going. I rambled on too much here. Any significant injuries you can think of, Bill? At least for these first 4 or 5 games.
The first game, Green Bay and Detroit. Aaron Jones is out. That means Dylan will probably get most of the work in the backfield. I don't think there's any significant injuries for Detroit. They may still be out a lot offensive linemen. I think they got all weapons.
Was it Marvin Jones stepped back, but he wasn't really a factor this season anyway, as far as receiving for Detroit. So you're right. I think I don't think any serious injuries for Detroit. And yeah, Jones being out, I think does hurt the Packers.
Musgrave went on the IR too.
Did he go on the IL, whatever it is?
So he's done. He's done. Yeah. So
yeah, he's done, at least for the regular season. And who knows if they're going to make anything. So I went with Detroit across the board, but I did go with the under. I just taking a shot because it's 47.5. I think. I just think it'll be even if it's 23-17, you know, I don't see the Packers running up a whole lot of points on Detroit, point-wise.
Nah.
So I went.
I think it's going to be close. Not game-wise, but over/under is going to be close.
Yeah,
I'm going to take the over. I took the Lions across the board also.
Okay. And remember, folks, we're only doing today's 3 games and tomorrow's 1 game, and then we'll be back before the weekend's over to go through the rest of the slate. Washington is at Dallas. Bill upgraded. Let me know that the odds are upgraded to Dallas winning by 13.5 now, and that the over/under is now 48. It moved up since earlier in the week. It's a division game. It's Thanksgiving. It is in Dallas. 13.5 is high. I don't know what I want to go with. I am taking Dallas to win the game. I'm going to listen to Bill's analysis. I know which way I'm kind of leaning, but Bill, go for it. I know you're a Washington fan, but you do look at this objectively, and you do look at numbers.
Yeah, but after last week's debacle against the Giants, I don't have too much faith in them. I do like the quarterback. He just doesn't get protection. So
How's
Al's the
running
yeah,
for his life.
Al yeah, and I got the Cowboys across the board, and I took the under.
All right.
I think it might be like a 30-10 game. So,
Yeah, I think the key to that is Dallas could win in a rout, but will Washington score many points to get it past the 48? I mean, if it's 35-10, you lose, the over
right.
under. Um, just the 13.5 is just so high for an NFL game. Ron Rivera could be coaching for his job in this one. And the players, if they like him, they're going to bust their ass. I think either way, because you have a new owner. Even if he lasts to the end of the season, that's about it.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel bad for Eric Bieniemy. I mean, the only thing that could happen is if he's looking for a job that's not a head coaching job and Washington doesn't give him that chance. The way Kansas City's offense is going, he could go. I think he could always go back to Andy Reid if he wants to.
Yeah, I agree, and I think
And
biggest
Kansas City's not exactly tearing it up on offense.
it wouldn't surprise me if Washington reaches out to Harbaugh for next year.
I think
So
that's one of
I
the
can see
teams that
that happen.
will. I think the Bears
Them
will.
or the Chargers. I think the Chargers is another one that
Yep,
may
the
might.
Bears, the Chargers, Washington. I mean, Oakland might keep Antonio Pierce depending how much they fight. Or Oakland, I'm sorry, I did it. There it is. Vegas, the Raiders. Um, that could be a landing spot for Harbaugh. And he would fit in with old time Raiders culture as far as wanting to win and fighting and all that. But I just old time. I don't think now. I think you're right. Bears, Washington. I think he'd probably stay more toward the east, though he
Mhm.
was a coach at Stanford, and let's face it, he did coach in San Francisco and got them back relevant when they were just scrubs. Uh,
Mhm.
I don't see him going to Dallas. And Mike McCarthy's on a bigger hot seat, I think, than everybody thinks. I think
Yeah,
I really think they got to get to the NFC Championship game or Jerry makes a change. They may not have to win it, but to get to the NFC Championship shows an improvement. And I
mhm.
think Jerry will say, okay, we're in the right direction. Um, but other than that, I think if they fall short of that, I think McCarthy could be gone. Jerry might clean house because he's a pretty impatient guy. I think he wants one more Super Bowl way removed from Jimmy Johnson's era before he passes the torch and buys the farm. But yeah, I'm I'm I think I'm going to take a chance and say that Washington will cover. Uh, which pretty much means if I think Washington's going to cover, well, no, it doesn't. It's either got to be a low scoring game or a shootout. I'm going to go with the low scoring game because I just don't. Washington's got receivers, but their running game hasn't been very good, which means you can focus on the receivers.
Mhm.
I'm going to go with the under. I'm probably going to rue the day and decide I should have taken Dallas, but as far as the point spread, but I'm going to take a shot here, Bill, and see what happens. I think they were embarrassed by last week. I think they're going to fight them. We'll find out if their players are professionals and fight through this and try and play, or are they going to just lay down and let Dallas run all over them?
Mhm.
San Francisco goes to Seattle tonight on NBC. With I guess I don't know if Al Michael. Oh no, it's not Al Michaels anyway. It'd be Mike Tirico. Tirico and Collinsworth probably in Seattle.
Mhm.
The Niners by 7. The point spread went up to 44. I'm taking the Niners, and I know it's in Seattle. You got the 12th man. San Francisco's been kind of up and down, but they won the last game. I think they're back on a roll. Do they get is Dabo back yet?
Debo's back. Yeah, he's back.
Debo, not
They got
Dabo.
all kinds of weapons,
They
and
got so many weapons. Yeah, I think I got to go with the Niners, and I got to go with them across the board, and I'm going to go over, only because I think it could be a, well, that's a risk actually. I was going to say it could be a 31-20 game, but that would put me below the 44.
I got the same. I got the same thing. The Niners across the board, and I'm going to take the over.
You know what?
But
Then
it wouldn't
if you
surprise.
take the
It
over,
wouldn't.
I'll take
It
the
wouldn't.
under.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's under because I mean Geno Smith's questionable, but it's looking to play,
Yeah,
and they're running backs out, so they're going with the rookie running back, Charbonnet,
yeah.
as their
I'm
running
going to
back.
take
So,
just for fun. I'm going to take the under, but I took San Francisco across the board.
okay.
This last but not least, Friday, the Friday game on Amazon, because obviously they usually have Thursday night games, but with it being Thanksgiving, I'm sure it's contractual and all that. Miami against the Jets. My shocker here is that it's only 10 because Jets have moved Zach Wilson, one of the highest number 2 wasted picks of all time, one of the highest. I don't think he's quite as bad as Ryan Leaf, but he's right in that same conversation. Is now the 3rd string quarterback for the Jets, not even 2nd string. He went from 1st to 3rd, almost like a good base runner. He went from 1st to 3rd on the single.
Yeah, and they got pinch hit for him as Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle, who started a whole 2 games in his NFL career, and Trevor Siemian, who got a shot in Denver years ago and showed that he was not ready for prime time. Same with Houston, I think. He started a few games. He is the backup. Semi-recently signed a few weeks ago and is now the number 2. Wilson's the number 3, so it wouldn't even surprise me if he becomes inactive for the game. Meanwhile, they're playing, it's in New Jersey, they're playing Miami. Get ready for those New Jersey/New York Boo Birds to come out because Miami is going to run this thing up. I'm surprised it's only 41 because I'm thinking it's going to be about 37-10. It's going to 35-10, whatever. I'm surprised the over-under is only 41. I'm surprised it's only 10-point spread for Miami. I took Miami across the board in the over. Of course, I'm thinking it's like Christmas if you're a betting guy. And of course, as soon as I say that, you're going to have shitty holidays because it's like I'm putting the jinx on you. But I think Miami's going to win by more than 10. And I think it's going to be more than the over under. Though the Jets have a good defense, you can only fight so long.
Yeah. My analogy on this game is like, after you're done eating Thanksgiving dinner and you're like, I think this game on Black Friday here is going to be blah.
Yeah.
It's like almost like one of those things where you're recuperating and then you're like flicking through the channels and then
Yeah.
you're come across, NFL game and you're like, oh, let's watch it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after like a quarter, you're like, that's time to turn the channel, watch something else. And I think that's how this is going to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Or it's Friday night, you watch the first quarter and look at your wife or girlfriend and go,
yeah,
"Hey, honey, let's go to the karaoke bar."
yeah. I mean, it's just,
I got a little nap in the first quarter. It's 21-3. Yeah, let's go to Applebee's and get a 2 for all you can eat thing or whatever.
yeah.
You want to take the kid or not? No? Okay.
So yeah, that's how I think this is. I do have Miami across the board. I did take the under for some reason because I think it could be like a 38-3 or yeah, 30. Actually, I would make it a push, a 38-3 game, but
38-3, yeah, but 35 to
yeah,
or
it could be
33 to
35-3, 35, whatever. The Jets defense isn't bad, so I got to give them that. But I don't know. I just
You just
don't
ain't
see
buying
Jets
it.
scores. I just don't see the Jets scoring more than maybe 6 points. So maybe they
Yeah,
hold the Dolphins, to maybe 30 or something. But
yeah.
I'll take the under.
Of course, watch Tim Boyle come out and look like an all-pro. We'll be like, "What the frig is this?" But it is
Well,
what
I even picked up Miami defense in two of my fantasy leagues, so they better. I'd love to see
they
a
better
shutout.
come through. Tonight's the night. That tomorrow night's their night. If they don't come through for what's your
Yeah.
team name, Bill?
Well, after tomorrow, you never know.
It could be Mud with two D's, right? Yeah,
Well, the one is the Sweetwater Pistols,
the Sweetwater Pistols, baby, from
and the other one's the
Sweetwater
Trumpsters.
the Trumpsters. Could have called them the Carrot Tops.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's the 4 games we're looking at, folks. I don't know of any major injuries. Seattle, Geno Smith is supposedly going to start at least. That's what they were saying this morning. Everybody else is pretty much as status quo as they're going to get. Dallas did lose Van Der Esch for the season. I don't know if he'll be back for the playoffs at all or not either. That's a serious neck injury that he's had before. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's done it. Also wouldn't surprise me if he decides to retire because it's the same neck injury that he's had, or he gets something done like Peyton Manning had. The difference is Peyton Manning as a quarterback wasn't getting hit every play. Van Der Esch, you stick your head in and you're getting hit every play, no matter what. So it wouldn't surprise me if he retires. Great linebacker. I'm not a Dallas fan, so for me to say that a guy is great for Dallas tells you. But great linebacker, makes a difference every time he's on the field. But I think he's got to consider, and I'm sure he is consider saying, for the sake of my own health and my family, I need to step away from the game. Either way, which you always hope he recovers and becomes healthy.
Sure.
The rest of the games, well, like I said, we'll pick them over the weekend for you folks. But for now, Bill and I are both taking Detroit. Bill's taking the over 47.5. I'm taking the under, but we think they'll beat Green Bay by more than the 8 points. Dallas, Washington, we both are taking Dallas to win the game. Bill's taking Dallas to beat the 13.5-point spread. I think Washington might try to make it close. Well, they'll try, but I think they're going to make it closer than that. So, and I took the under 48 points. Bill took the over.
No, I got the under
Oh,
also.
no, I apologize. We both took the under. I'm reading the wrong thing. I apologize. But we did both take under 48. It's a lot of points. San Francisco and Seattle. We both took San Francisco to win. We both took them to cover. The 44-point over under. Bill took over. I took under. Bill has more faith in Seattle than I do to get enough points to make his bet okay. And last but not least for this show, Miami and the Jets, 41-point over under. Bill took under just on a hunch, I think. I took over, definitely on a hunch. But I just think Miami's going to outscore. And we both think Miami will cover the 10-point spread because the Jets are starting my neighbor at quarterback from St. George, and his right arm is sore. He's throwing with his wrong hand. The Jets quarterback situation is without Aaron Rodgers is just a giant mess. There's talk Robert Saleh could be on the block as well, but I don't see that only because they've invested so much in Aaron Rodgers, who partially went there because he likes Robert Saleh. I don't see them getting rid of him without Aaron Rodgers saying, yeah, I'm on board with that. Because that'd be like starting all over, even though he's got his offensive coordinator there, Nathaniel Hackett. And I think he's in for at least 2 more seasons, Aaron Rodgers. I think he wants to prove that he can still play and that he could help the Jets. So as long as he doesn't get hurt, and he's talking about coming back this season.
Yeah.
The
early December, they said.
early
This
December.
was a couple of
But
weeks
if
away.
I'm the Jets, I have a chat with him if we're out of it. You know what I mean? I don't want him risking getting hurt and coming back too early if they're out of it. Now, the thing for the Jets could also be, though, if he's up and running and looks pretty good, let's do this to show our fans and to show the rest of the team, here's what we can be next year. If we can, even if they don't win games, have a good offensive output. You got that to think about, but I would say personally, if I'm the owner, if I'm Woody Johnson, I myself come in with the GM and even Robert Saleh and say, look, and Hackett and say, look, we want you 100% healthy, and the doctors to say you are at no risk of re-injuring this thing more than you normally would be. I too much invested in him, too much, not just money wise, but team wise as well, morale wise. If we're out of it, I don't want to put you in there.
There's nothing to prove.
Yeah,
Once you're
nothing
out,
to prove. You're going to be back 100%. Let's get you back. So, looking at the rest of the NFL injury wise, we can do that, and then we'll sign off and let you guys enjoy the games that are coming up soon. Jacksonville, Houston, I don't think there's any serious injuries. I'm not going to make a pick yet, but let's just say stay tuned. It could get interesting. Jacksonville's playing pretty well. Houston's playing really well. A lot of people are overlooking Jacksonville in that division, even though they may win that division. Everybody's talking about who are the best teams in the conference. And of course, they're talking Kansas City. You're talking Baltimore. There was talk about it being Buffalo. That I think that's out the door as far as being one of the elite teams, though they could cause some damage, and you never know. But new offensive coordinator in Buffalo, so that'll be an interesting deal. There's no buys this week, so we'll have a few games to pick on Sunday, but I don't see any injuries or any issues in that game. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, new offensive coordinator. Fans finally got their wish, and even the offensive players, is Matt Canada is probably going back up north.
because that offense is terrible. It's terrible.
Well, what came out this week was he was calling plays, but really didn't have offensive game plans going into these games, except a generalization. You got. I'm sorry. In today's NFL, I don't know what that was. It's happened twice, but long as our signal keeps going, we're good. I don't know if you see it at your end. It like flickers and then comes back.
No, I don't see it here.
Okay, that's a good thing. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I think that'll be a close move without Burrow. I won't discuss what my pick is.
Yeah, they're going to struggle. Yeah.
They're going to struggle. Carolina, Tennessee. That's semi-interesting, though I don't think it'll be a fun game to watch. New England Giants, kind of the same. Ho-hum. Two teams in a car going nowhere. They're in a car without an engine. There's not going to be a whole lot of going up the road. Though Tommy DeVito has proven that he's a little bit better than the guy making sandwiches at a Staten Island deli. Other than that, that's it. Tampa Bay and Indy, interesting, maybe. That could actually be a pretty good game to watch. That could be interesting. New Orleans, Atlanta. Carr was, last I knew, was still in concussion protocol. And Atlanta has decided that Ritter is going to be the starting quarterback the rest of the season. I feel bad for Heineke. He keeps getting pushed aside. They
didn't give him much of a chance.
No. I think they did it only because Ritter had a bad game or two, wanted to go over stuff with him, have him learn the offense a little bit more. But yeah, Heineke, Washington, and now here really hasn't gotten that much of a chance. In Washington, I thought he did well enough when he got his chances. But, everybody wants that marquee name. I think he's going through the same thing Gardner Minshew goes through. And Minshew's proven he can be competitive in Indy. They stay in games and have won a couple, I think, because of him. And I think Heineke's in the same boat. Cleveland, Denver. That could be pretty close, though. Cleveland's without Watson the rest of the year. Cleveland signed Joe Flacco, who's going to be on his 57th team in the 32-team NFL, off of the couch. He always moves like he's got a couch attached to him. But they say he's there to be a backup. The rookie that started last week, everybody's calling him TDR, probably TBD, to be determined if he can play in the league. But Flacco is supposedly there as a backup and to help lead guidance toward the young man. So they're putting some chips in on him to try to get him a little help. But that could be a fairly competitive game. Rams in Arizona, with Kyler Murray back, it makes Arizona a little bit more competitive. So it'll be interesting. And Connor's starting to find his way on the ground again. So we can see how that'll work. Stafford's still playing, I think. Cooper Kupp is probably out.
Probably out, yeah.
For at least this week. I don't think they're going to put him on the IL, but he's definitely going to be out this week. I think they're going to try to keep him on the roster to see if they actually make the playoffs. I think if they get to the point where they aren't going to, I think he'll be done. And I wouldn't be surprised, Bill, if Sean McDermott, I don't think he'll retire, but he may step away for a couple seasons. He was going to retire a couple years ago. It wouldn't surprise me after this season if they don't make the playoffs, if he decides he's going to quote unquote step away from coaching for a while, which means he'll probably be done as a Ram head coach.
Sure.
So that could be a place that Harbaugh goes to too. You notice we're talking Harbaugh as your front running NFL candidate. That's assuming he'll leave Michigan. I think he will after this season's all the turmoil he's had at the college level. None of the things everybody's thinking he's cheating with or is responsible for are issues in the NFL. You're allowed to.
I think besides him being suspended, I think they might want to get rid of many.
And I think, right, Michigan may want to say, look, Jim, we know you're an alumni. You've built us back up to where we are, even if they win, especially if they win the national championship and they got to beat Ohio State this week, which that college game, interesting from the cheap seats, folks. We're supposed to handle all sports. I'm telling you, that Ohio State Michigan game would be the game to watch in the NCAA this weekend. Washington is now the number 4 team in the poll instead of Florida State, who lost their quarterback forever, it looks like, because even if he recovers, I think he's going to put himself in for the NFL. And I think the NFL, remember, has changed the rule that you can be a junior now and apply to be in the draft for the NFL. So that's going to make some things interesting as well across the board. But Michigan, Ohio State's going to be the game. It's in Ann Arbor this year in Michigan. So that'll be an interesting game. Should be a good game to watch. If Harbaugh wins everything, I think he's going to retire right off into the sunset to the NFL. If he doesn't, then I think it's more of what you said, at least behind the scenes. Jim, we don't want to fire you. We would rather you resign. And we'll all sing your praises as you go out the door. We'll still keep this us against the world thing. But if you want to go to the NFL, you have our blessing. We'd rather you do that. And he'll make his own bones in the NFL.
Sure.
So, because there's more than a bunch of teams that would handle him. I mean, like we said, Chicago, if McDermott steps away, the Rams, San Diego, here we go again. Los Angeles, Chargers. There's a shot at the Raiders if they don't keep Pierce. Washington. Frank Reich might be on the hot seat in Carolina, which I hope not, because this is his first year. I'd like to see them get him some players and let him see what he can do. Same thing happened with him in Indy. I don't think it was his fault. He made him as competitive as he could with what he had. I'd like to see him have a shot with good players and see what he can do. But you're right. Atlanta, I think Smith's on the hot seat there. Houston, I think, found their guy with DeMarco. I think he's the guy. So yeah, but there's some instances out there where Arizona could be in play. I don't think what's his name's going to be there for. I don't even know who it is. I forgot, but I think he's about gone. Whoever it is, Green Bay. You never know, but I don't see Harbaugh going to Green Bay, especially over Chicago. I don't know. He used to play in Chicago years ago, so. But we'll wait and see. But there's a bunch of teams that won't be able to wait to sign up Jim Harbaugh. So, and I think that Atlanta could be one of them. I think the Rams could be one if they walk away. If McDermott walks away, and I think he could. Buffalo, Philadelphia, of course, Dallas Goedert is still out for Philadelphia, but so is Buffalo's tight end, not Kincaid.
Knox, also Knox.
Yes, Dalton Knox, who's a good tight end as well. So both of those teams are missing their tight end. I think Philly's defense is a little better, but we got later in the week. Sunday Night Football, Baltimore and the Chargers.
Mark Andrews is out.
Andrews is out. The Chargers, Keenan Allen was hobbled up last game. I don't know.
Yeah, he's been practicing. So.
He's been practicing, so he'll probably be in there, but who knows if he's 100%. And Monday Night Football, Chicago, Minnesota. I almost want to say why, but
and Jefferson, he was going to be questionable, but I think he's not going to play.
I think they're going to sit him out.
I think they'll sit him one more week.
Yeah, because I think Minnesota could make the playoffs even if Detroit wins the division. So I'd rather have Jefferson back and 100% healthy than strained hamstring, and then you risk tearing it and then he's gone forever. So yeah, I'd rather he be 100%. We will make all of those picks over the weekend, folks, because we're going to wait to see what injury stats look like and things like that. But we got the 4 in for you, 3 today and the 1 for tomorrow, which is Friday. We're filming this on Thursday, and we're going to let you guys pretty much get out of here. No real significant signings in Major League Baseball hot stove yet, except for maybe the Phillies re-signing Aaron Nola, which they did. Kind of a high commitment, but he has been relatively healthy over the course of his career. I think that's the other thing you look at if you're a team that was looking at him. He apparently had narrowed it down to the Braves and the Phillies, and I understand that maybe he did give a hometown discount to the Phillies, which is not overly surprising. And I like Aaron Nola. He stays out of the media as much as possible. He just goes out and pitches. To me, this was a bit of a struggle. If you look after the third time through the lineup, numbers got higher as far as teams being able to hit him. I think that'll be an adjustment with the pitching coaches and the pitching staff of the Phillies. They'll make some adjustments, and he will too. So I like that fact that they're re-signing him. So you still have a good 1-2 punch if you're Philadelphia. A couple of other folks have moved around, but nobody of any other big name significance. NBA, Draymond Green got a 5-game suspension for putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold. Outside of MMA, there's really no place for that in sports. And you can put all the positive spins you want on Draymond Green. To me, good player, great defensive player, but also a thug, and a bully. Even on his own team, punching the kid in the face last year. I mean, at some point, you got to say this guy shouldn't even be playing in the NBA. Yeah. I mean, a chokehold is a life-risking maneuver. I mean, if he didn't eventually either let go or be pulled off, he could have really, really caused damage to Rudy Gobert's permanent health. He's kicked guys in the chest. He's kicked guys and punched them in the groin. He's a thug. He's a wannabe thug. On the street, he probably wouldn't have survived. But, he's on a basketball court in the NBA. And the most he gets is 5 games. People are going, oh, that's pretty severe. That's a joke. Yeah. That's a joke to me. So here is my, diatribe, my tangent. Engaging has a podcast. Hell, I'm engaging and have a podcast, but people that know me know I'll say anything at any time because I just don't like you and I don't like people. Well, he takes it to a whole different level. I mean, there are legalities in sports, and it's funny. I haven't ever seen it done. I saw one effort of it. There was a Supreme Court case years ago with a Cincinnati running back who was very well known, but it was a long time ago, Bill. He sued a player and the NFL for allowing the severe injury to him that did occur and I think ended his career. And I'd have to go back and look at who it was, but I do remember it was a Cincinnati Bengals running back. And it was a personal foul, but it didn't rise to the level of an assault, which is what he was trying to say. The Supreme Court came out eventually and said, actions taken within the scope of the game do not rise to the level of criminal or civil tort as far as assault or battery is concerned. Mm-hmm. But what it did say was, if it's something that is not expected in the game, if it's outside the realm of the game, then you could have rise to criminal activity, to a criminal or civil case. One of these days, like a situation like that with Rudy Gobert, if he had ever shown he had permanent damage, if he had been hurt permanently, or in football, if it's a personal foul because of a late hit, and people got to remember, negligence is also part of a civil trial. Recklessness is part of a criminal case. If somebody gets hurt because of an action like that, somebody hurts a knee in football because somebody hit you on purpose, way after a play, and they get hurt permanently and lose millions of dollars because of their career, it's going to take a lawsuit, I think. It's going to, unfortunately, take a very serious injury for somebody to take these things serious. Why Draymond Green got 5 games is beyond me. To me, he should have been suspended maybe indefinitely. Hockey is kind of the same way. If you hit somebody with a stick, if you slash them, you club them with a stick, that should be a case for, and hockey does treat it differently. You could be suspended indefinitely. That's the way it should be. And it's kind of cut down. And I used to love the Broad Street Bullies in the 70s. Those guys were vicious. And in today's world, some of those guys probably should have been suspended or expelled for a lot longer. Some of these suspensions take place. Everybody's like, how high or how significant the 5 games is. No, it's not. It's not. That guy could, in a chokehold, he could have been killed. I mean, it just, you deprive somebody of oxygen for a little more than 2 minutes, and brain damage could start to suffer permanently. 3 minutes, it definitely will. You can't, and a chokehold, let's face it, in that scrum, he could have twisted his neck and caused permanent damage. How I love sports, but how far do we let sports go?
Yeah.
At some point, somebody's going to have to draw a line, and I'm afraid it's going to go into a courtroom. You don't really want sports to go into a courtroom.
Yeah.
But if your leagues don't take action against a situation like this, someday it's going to end up in a courtroom, and somebody's going to be permanently hurt or worse because of an action of a player who no restraint. Draymond Green has proven time and time and again, not Draymond, I apologize for mispronouncing his first name. Draymond Green, it should be questioned, should he be playing basketball at an NBA level, a professional level? Because he doesn't learn. This 5 games to him, he may gripe about it, but it's a slap on the wrist. It's not even that. And the money goes to charity. Any fines that he gets or any money he loses because he's not supposedly being paid, goes to charity. So what's that going to do? He's going to write it off. It's millions, it's nickels, it's pennies to him. So I'm going to end the tangent here, but it's,
yeah, because I got to get going.
Yeah, I got to end the tangent here, but I don't know. Anybody that
I
doesn't watch,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I mean,
There's
feel
no
free.
time for.
Feel free to discuss it. And I know most people are going to discuss, well, look what happened to this guy. I don't care about what's happened to others in the past. Let's focus on the here and now. That's what we're supposed to do in life anyway. Well, this guy only got this many. Don't care. Don't care. Wipe the slate clean. Don't care about the past. Tell me about the future. Tell me about where this is going to go. It's escalating. And somebody's going to get hurt or worse.
Yep.
So 5 games. What a joke. All right. Well, that's from the cheap seats, and that's probably why I'm in the cheap seats. They don't want me any closer. I'm going to start saying some shit. Sit down, you bum, that kind of a thing. So, all right. So to wrap this up, and I went on too long about the tangent. I know. I'm sorry, Bill. I see you looking at your watch, and it's Thanksgiving. We got places to go. We're filming this on Thanksgiving. Hope you guys have a great holiday. Stuff yourselves. And I mean that in a positive sense instead of the normal sense.
Enjoy yourself, guys.
Stuff yourself, pal. In this case, go stuff yourselves, pals. Go enjoy the day.
Have a turkey leg for me.
There you go. Have a drumstick for me. All right. Hey, you guys. Billy, anything you want to say to anybody before we go?
Happy Thanksgiving. You're out shopping later. Take care of yourself. Look out around your surroundings, because there are a lot of crazy people out there. So
you got that right. Whether you're driving, whether you're shopping, be careful.
A TV or a bike isn't worth fighting over and risking your life.
True. Good point. Very good point. You get a chance, wait for it to come out on DVD or wait for it to come out streaming, but get a chance to go to your point. There's a movie out. I went and saw it yesterday called Thanksgiving.
Okay.
It goes to your point exactly about shopping and being safe, and a TV's not worth this and that's not worth that. It's kind of a cool, it's Thanksgiving, and of course it's not. So you go for it. It's part of the theme, but it's part of what you said. Be careful of your surroundings. So, but there you go. Here endeth the lessons, folks. To sum up, we picked the 3 games today, 1 game tomorrow. We're not going to go through the games again. I'm going to let Billy go. I'm going to get out of here. Also, to sum up, Draymond Green should be not playing professional basketball. You can listen to the reasons.
Enjoy, folks.
But other than that, have a good Thanksgiving, Bill.
You too, Buck.
Tell everybody I said hey, and unless I don't like them, and if they don't like me, tell them screw themselves. Tell me to get stuff.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by. And I don't really mean thanks. So, all right. For Billy Smith, for Dennis and Graldi, for all you folks, have a great holiday. Have a great Thanksgiving. Don't make yourself sick. And if you are shopping, like Billy said, or if you're driving from family to family, please be careful. We need all the listeners and watchers and viewers we can get. So I don't want to lose any of you guys. Plus, that makes it sound like I care. Whether I do or not, it's up to you. But whether you think I do, it's up to you. So, Billy, thanks for everything for this past year. I'm giving thanks to my pal Billy for being there every time he can be. And I'm thankful for your health, pal. I hope it keeps getting better.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Problem. Yep.
You too, buddy.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. We will see you later this weekend from the cheap seats, where we'll be watching these games with binoculars and hopefully keep the scratches off.